Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. 21st, Tuesday. Not a whole lot on the docket for economic news. I think the markets might be a little bit on pause because we've got Microsoft and Tesla tomorrow, which are going to be huge earnings tomorrow. And we just had a huge day yesterday. But, yeah, I don't know. You want to fight the momentum? Yeah. You really want to fight the momentum? Good morning, Win. Right away, Win's in there. How's it going? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like today's, well, we'll see. We'll change it later. But I feel like today's title is the recession canceled? Or, I mean, it's back to that because, like, the thing that's so crazy, NASDAQ all-time highs, S&P 500 up pretty big yesterday, Dow Jones not looking good. They were up, of course, but only up like 0.1%. Anyways, let's look at what we got going on here, right? Volume profile. Okay, so let's start with the treasuries because we had like a little bit of a, well, so they came down eventually. Like the treasuries held on for a long time, but it wasn't, sometime around noon Eastern time, they finally gave it up, came down. There was a little bit of a rally into the close, so probably some shorts covering. And overnight, again, they tried to hold it. A little drop. But overall, it's still within the range. That's not a huge deal. And they're moving back up right now, which is kind of interesting. Same thing in the 10-year, but you can see the 10 years a little bit more biased to the downside. So the fear trade is still going into the ZB. But of course, they're losing yesterday because, man, you look at this move. Look at this move. I'm sorry. This line right here. That is just unnatural. Hold on. Squawk is going off. I don't care about that right now. Secretary Pompeo saying stuff. Anyways, very unnatural move up. And at this point, we've really got to come over to the daily chart. And here we can see there was that couple beginning of June or so when we had that peak. And then it was followed by a pretty hard sell, and now we're getting up above it again. So this is significant resistance. Yesterday looks like a what do we call it? Benchmark breakout day is just yesterday was really big. Okay, are we gonna have consolidation and it gonna reverse? I don't know. This normally you continue and it continues going up, but this is exactly where you'd see the head fake sort of a thing too. And I don't know if there's really a whole lot of news to justify us to continue moving up today. People are probably going to sit on their heels. But anyways, that's where we're at on there. Now let's go look at some other assets. Oil. So oil didn't really move a ton yesterday, but now overnight up pretty good. That's interesting because I did not really see a whole lot from News Squawk about that. Let's go back and read their blog and see what did they say about oil. Asia, geopolitical, FX, commodities. They've rallied somewhat this morning with sentiment in general bolstered by the European Council coming to an agreement overnight. Price action has seen WTI and Brent September futures hit high. News flow for the complex itself has once again been sparse, with no scheduled events for the complex this week aside from weekly releases, which see private inventory report tonight. Some expectations looking for a draw of 750K. compared to the previous week's draw of 8.3 million. A reminder for the complex today: the August 20 WTI future is set to expire. Okay. So yeah, now gold. Oh my gosh, look at gold is just going. So it there is definitely skepticism of this move. Don't be fooled. Okay, there are a lot of people fighting this. When we saw the open yesterday, the first move was selling, and when the buyers started, accumulating and pushing up, there was some hardcore selling. Oh, how does this read?
Sunday driver says fire, 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 silver, fire, fire, fire.
Yeah, it's up.
Sunday
big.
driver says my silver and gold. Zooming.
Anyways, they were fighting it hard and they were aggressive. Somebody came in and swept like 2 points. Sell. But he lost. So what I think is happening is all of the skeptics are piling into gold, and gold is up big. And I really like, how can you not? Because we're gonna pass stimulus, like we're at all-time highs in the NASDAQ. And Congress is still talking about how we absolutely have to pass another stimulus bill or the economy is going to fall apart. Like it's this dire thing. And, Joe Biden, who is in the lead right now from the polls, is all talking about all these new social programs that he's going to add. Today, he's announcing universal child care. And what was the other one? Elderly care. Elderly care. Okay. I really don't think that universal child care is a good thing for a society, but I think you want more people to stay home. Stop forcing us to have two parents working. That's what that's going to do, right? Everybody's going to be two parents working. You can make half as much. Anyways, that's where we're at today. But again, today I'm thinking it's probably going to be relatively quiet. I'm going to be watching the treasuries carefully here. They are pretty equal right now. They're in the middle of the range. We're below where we were yesterday. They might want to move up to 60. But this is right where you would expect them to sell it. Let's watch the tape and see what they do.
Sunday driver says US dollar crash coming. Stock market crash coming. They are going to MMT this whole thing. Biden will not end the Middle East wars. Biden is owned by China.
Okay, Sunday driver. If you want to go short this market, then be my guest. I tell you what, there is a number of guys in the Equity Indexes channel on Discord that were going short yesterday. And they've done this many times before and they've gotten away with it. We'll see if they get away with it this time. Because they were looking to sell it at like, oh man, where was he? Where was it to sell? It was so like, he was like saying he was going to go fully short. Well, Igar went short the S&P yesterday.
Sunday driver says I'm not shorting because the Fed will cross every red line. I'm long gold and silver.
He was going, let's see here, Chewy was going short 32.50. Looking for a move back to 3,200. And now we're at 32.70. 32.70. 20 points. It doesn't look good, but they could come back down. The silver and gold move though just looks crazy. I mean, is $10 that big of a deal in gold? Oh, let's look. Let's look here. DC futures. Specs. Dollar value of one tick is $10 and a tick is 10 cents. So each dollar it goes up is $100. And it's gone up $10 now this hour. $1,000 move per contract.
William Shakespeare says Sunday God forbid Biden.
You have to wonder if maybe some of that in gold is because of Joe Biden talking about more social programs. Okay, so here comes the numbers. Chicago Fed National Activity Index actual 4.11. New housing price. I'm late. This is a whole minute late. My little siren goes off late. New housing price index 1.3%. Month over month, but though in line. Not a whole lot of reaction. Daily deaths per million. Arizona 11, Florida 5.6, Texas 4.5, Canada in the EU flat, of course, because they haven't opened. Well, they kind of opened back up. Well, even though gold is really the big leader here in all of this, I'm seeing the 6Js moving up a little bit as well, and the treasuries have been up. So the dollar itself is not really going anywhere, though. They're still at 95.67. See if anything. Jigsaw users back. Okay, whatever. Oh, that's a good point. What is Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin also up. But back to 94.40, which they've done many, many, many times. So they would need to continue pushing up in order to really tell us something.
William Shakespeare says Biden talking about individual share tax on each share traded will destroy retail traders.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like AOC writing his speech.
No, we got rid of all of the, we got rid of the broker commissions. So now we're going to tax them. I always wonder, though, what will it be for
Sunday
futures?
Driver says when I say dollar crash and market crash coming, I'm not saying imminent. It's baked in and will happen.
Wow. The thing is, when we were looking at this yesterday, I said this was a big move, a little bit too much. This sort of a thing usually ends in tears. Like a really good example, Tesla. Tesla was like 10%, almost 10% yesterday. And I'm sitting here, I have a kind of a experimental trade with puts in Tesla.
Sunday Driver says at William Shakespeare that's designed to destroy the high-frequency traders.
And I was doing pretty well on it until yesterday. How are they going to meet those earnings? How are they going to meet those earnings? But then the thing is like, when you look at the money flow,
Vincenzo C says would it be home slice?
how do you short this? Like, honestly, how do you short it? You can't. So
Stephen
I don't know.
Wright says Elon always lies to meet earnings.
Could be.
Stephen Wright
Unshortable.
says unshortable.
Well, I think that the reason that everybody is piling into it is because they think that it's going to be included in the index, which it probably is, and it's true that institutions will have to buy it, but I think that people are making a misread on that, because when you're talking about literally the most popular stock in in the whole stock market, adding them to the S&P 500 is kind of, is a little different, you know? It's a little different. I don't know if you can really see an appreciable rise in it off of that alone. Unless the retail guys like really squeeze it, like you're gonna really have to hold it.
Vlad Stolyarov says markets move in cycles.
But if I was an index guy, well, first they have to have positive earnings on Wednesday. But like, oh man, when is the next S&P 500 rebalance? It's not for a while.
Sunday driver says will only last so long. One day, the shorts will win with Tesla. Tesla back to $5.
Happens 4 times a year. Back to $5, yeah, right. Happens every quarter. Let's see here. Calendar. S&P rebalance is the yellow square. Where's the yellow square? September 18th. So mark your calendars. September 18th is the moment, but that's where I'm sitting here and like, okay, so you guys are gonna pump it for 3 months, all the way to September 18th. That's why they're trading it. That's like the big bull case in Tesla from what I've been reading. I don't know about that one, man. Like I don't know if they can really hold that, but we'll see. I like this trade with Tesla. It's not a like stick your neck out sort of a trade for me. It's an experiment because I think that I see a price point that matters, and we'll see if it does. We'll see. But I don't know. Like the thing is, if you want to come in and say, everything's gonna fall apart, this isn't sustainable. Hold on. You want to have a doomsday scenario. Lots of people come in and give doomsday scenarios, and then eventually they'll be right. After saying it for 10 years, then finally they were right, and they're like, "Oh, see, we were right." No, you fucking weren't. You were wrong for 10 years, and then you caught a little move down. In reality, it was a little, in the larger scheme of things.
Uzi Knesset says morning.
I think that if you're going to make doomsday scenarios, that you have to have timing too. Any prediction that's not attached to timing is probably not worth a whole lot to us. You know what I mean? So if we say that it's going to fall apart, then when? When? I say Tesla's not going to meet earnings, but I don't see how that can possibly be true with the way that they're buying it up 10%. Wow, like there's got to be something sketchy going on. But probably a lot of it is all that call buying. Anyways,
Uzi Knesset says just go buy 100 shares of Tesla. It'll crash after that for sure. Lol. Uzi Knesset says stonks.
I'm not gonna buy something unless I'm getting a good deal. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get a good deal on something anymore. Congress seems determined to force us into buying things that Congress seems to be determined to force us into paying more for things than we should. That's the whole thing is set up to force y'all into buying into stuff. Well, the treasuries look pretty pretty dead here. By the way, I fixed up some of my indicators, but I'm not seeing well, it's not showing up over here in the E-mini the way that it used to. It's a little screwed up still. So I'm still a bit skeptical of it. But I am looking at this bid max offer. Well, this resting orders ones. These are the orders that aren't pulling. And then that's kind of interesting. It's really interesting in the treasury because in the treasury, it's incredibly consistent. It appears incredibly consistent. And you can kind of see these situations where they they're stacking and pulling, but it's not. The resting orders shouldn't change. So I can see the disparity between them. It's interesting. Anyways, the long and short of it is it's interesting. Wells Fargo names Mike Santomassimo as new chief financial officer. Yeah, okay. Missouri Attorney General, we're moving for dismissal of McCloskey charges. They're doing that, huh? That's probably a smart decision. Well, so when you get a no news Tuesday, sometimes you got to be on your toes because that's when you can get like these crazy trend days. Well, look at the activity in the Treasury right now. They can always surprise, but for now, it does not look like that's happening. It looks like the expectation is a range bound day. Henry Farrell has a caustic blog post on economists who think they're smarter than epidemiologists. King off a recent column of mine, but my column was about politicians, not economists. Who are these economists we're talking about? Well, so that one's an interesting one because there's been a number of economists at the big banks that have made some calls on coronavirus that I think have been pretty good. Like Bank of America was saying that the peak hospitalizations was going to be last week. And I haven't seen a chart of that. It might be kind of like still going sideways, but the interest from the markets in that whole thing certainly died down, hasn't it? Okay, IG Squawks got a good one here. Which one goes to 2000 first, Tesla or gold? That is a great question. I like that. Let's put that in the lobby here. Let's see here. What's an emoji we can use for gold? Animals. Food.
Uzi Knesset says ZB fighting hard over the buyer's basis.
Is it fighting hard?
Sunday Driver says the better question is which one stays above $2,000, Tesla or gold. Tesla is managed by Carnival Barker Pied Hypothetical Big Mouth.
There we go. I'll use a car and scales so you guys can go into the lobby on Discord and vote for whether you think it'll be
Uzi
gold
Knesset
or
says
Tesla
boom.
first. Okay, you're right. Good observation there, Uzi. So we should go long, right?
Uzi Knesset says that fucking puke though wow.
Yeah. Interesting to me. So, oh, hold on. Oh, Japan wants to help 87 countries leave China. So question for you then, Uzi. What was it that you were seeing there that initially gave it away that they were quote unquote fighting? Was it just that there was a lot of volume trading through there? Or was there like reloading kind of behavior? I guess I wasn't really paying attention.
Uzi Knesset says yeah the volume.
Just the volume. Well, we definitely keyed into something, man. This is like amazing. I'm going to bet you that when we get trend days that it's not going to be as useful, but I think I've finally found something that can help me on those range bound days, you know? Right now though, it's not really I don't know. The 10-year really sat there for a long time, didn't it? I think we should be a little bit cautious about the long because they definitely were pushing in on him, but this may be some people trying to make some sort of a reversal play in the E-mini that doesn't actually materialize. You know what I mean? Anyways, I think that the economists, when we're talking about economics versus epidemiology, I think that the
Smart TV says could you
economists are
give a
good job
short
reading the
explanation what
numbers.
we see on the DOM? I am new to market depth.
Okay, sure. So, what you're seeing here, the first thing that I got to key you in on is, what is a DOM? There's a DOM right there. There's the outlines of it, right? And I have multiple instruments up. ZN, ZF, ZB, okay, ES, MES. You can see them right here, the names of them, right? So this is 5, 10, 30. Okay. So this blue column right here are resting bids on the exchange, and this are resting offers. Okay. So these are limit buys and limit sells is the main thing that you're looking at here, right? What you see in the middle.
Smart TV says like buy limits, sell limits, etc.
Yeah, buy limit and sell limit. So what you see in the middle is the market orders, right? So when you hit market buy, it's going to be matched up with these limit sells at 14, right? Because that's the best offer right now. So that's what we did with our initial trade was, hey, wait until there's not a whole lot on there and you buy into it on the hopes that it's going to tick up. It looks like it's not going to. It looks like this other one might actually get a fill, which I think that a little bit of a pullback here in CB would probably make a lot of sense. So let's see. Anyways, so the middle are market orders. So one of the first things that I want to look at is how much does it take to clear. So for instance, there was 2,000 there at 13.5 at one point. Okay. And now it's only 800. It is pulled. When it pulls, that often will attract market orders because they'll try and take the edge. But you notice that it's not really doing that right now. Only 10 guys have sold into 13.5. It should be hard for us to get filled here at 13.5. Okay. So this is the thing that I'm kind of looking at. And the game here is how many orders is it going to take to clear a price, right? Because the less orders you got on there, the easier it should be for them to tick through it, right? But that's kind of where they're deceptive because they might pull it and have an iceberg sitting there. In fact, I bet you that if they decide to actually hit 13.5, I bet you that a lot more than 1,000 will trade there before it clears. And another thing is we kind of want to watch and see how these numbers change over time, because if they stack and then they pull and then and it changes back and forth, but what is like the minimum amount that's on there? Because those are the guys that they don't want to lose their place in line, so they're staying. So that is important. That tells us a lot. Right now, there are way more bids than offers. Do you see that? Look at this right here. All of those are 35s. And up above us here at 15.5 and 16, which is an area that we've been at a lot over the past week, there's not a whole lot there. There's like a liquidity vacuum there. Curious, right? So that kind of will tell you a couple of things, right? The book is certainly biased up. They're certainly moving up. If we move back down, then the question will be, do these orders stay? How badly do those guys really want it? Sometimes they stack those on there just because they're trying to trick you, right? So this is the game. But the key thing is you want to watch this inside and see how much volume is trading. We traded 26.16 when we last bought up here. That's a significant thing. Still not filled. And basically, you can use that to determine where are people buying and selling. That's how I know that, for instance, at 13.5, I know that the momentum is up and I want to go long. And I know that it should be fairly difficult for me to get filled at 13.5. So if I get filled and a bunch of volume trades there, then cool, I'm okay with it. If it goes through me really, really quickly, then maybe it's not such a good trade. And that is the gist of reading the DOM. But of course, it requires a lot of experience to be able to say that.
Smart TV says thanks so far, slightly smiling face.
I guess the other thing that I should really nail into your head is that it's not predictive. You can certainly go through and set up some trades and say, okay, I've seen this pattern here before and look at what the statistics of it. Generally speaking, you're going to find that it changes in different markets. There's different behaviors that you will see in different types of markets. And because of that, you can't come in on any one day and say, okay, well, it's acting like this and this means X, because the daily context could be Y and you don't know. So you don't want to read it as predictive. Instead, what you want to read it as is um, like a way of knowing the right place to put your orders, right? So we kind of knew based on doing a bunch of math on all of the limit orders that have gone through for the whole session that this 13 area was kind of a really key border between buyers and sellers at which um, buyers start making money essentially, and where sellers were break even. So I'm buying because we're above that. And I know that today is likely to be like fairly range bound and a little bit choppy. So I'll want to try and scalp a little bit out of the treasury long on the expectation that it's going to go back into the balance area. Right. So the predictive thing on the trade is really more the all of the fundamentals that I'm saying here, right? We had a big update yesterday. There's no news today. Probably we're going to consolidate. That's the predictive thing. And then I'm using the order flow just to determine where is the right spot to try and get in. And you're playing the queue. The queue matters. I might actually be able to get 14. Let's see. Okay, so like I said, more than 1,000 there at 13.5, right? 26.90. So the buyers wanted it. Now, did anything change off of that? Doesn't really look like it to me. It's not an exaggeration to compare the methods used by the new woke movement to those of Mao's Red Guards. Paul Krugman thinks it's an exaggeration, but I don't think it's an exaggeration. I think it's a very apt comparison. Wouldn't necessarily call it the Red Guard. I mean, my understanding of the way that all of this happened in China, all right, is that the activists came in and said, "Oh, all of these people are disadvantaged, and the police have been awful to them. So we should disband the police." So they disbanded the police, and then they said, "Oh, we're going to make a community police." And then that ended up being the People's Liberation Army or whatever it is. No, it wasn't the People's Liberation Army. It's called something else. It's the other thing that they got there in China. Basically, they became the secret police. Given that China is our biggest geopolitical foe right now, and that's the way that things went down in China, that's their playbook. I think that any comparisons that you can make between what's going on today and what happened in China should be paid attention to, because that if China is trying to interfere in domestic U.S. issues, that's the way that they would do it. Is they would try and use the same playbook that made things happen in China. Okay. Okay. So the E-mini took a little step down there, and it did cause some buying in the treasury, but it was mostly uh, edge catchers. Didn't really see a ton. Well, 21.22 to trade back down. They did clear it there at 13.5, right? It's unclear. I don't think they did. See, this area becomes the balanced interest. Oh, what is wrong with my... Oh, that's really interesting. The E-mini, when I look at the cost basis in the E-mini, it looks incredibly overbought. Like, it looks like the E-mini is going to come back to $32.62. And I can't even see the seller's cost basis. It's so far back down there. Treasury ticked down. So 842 to trade through 13. That's a bad sign for us, right? Not what we should see. Should take way more volume than that. Okay. Just realizing that my system never isn't putting in an automatic stop, so I should at least have something somewhere. Yeah.
Chopsticks 7 Life says I smell a sell-off during open.
In the E-mini? Well, the E-mini is there's definitely going to be some selling, and they're probably going to try and make it over to that VWAP area like 3260. But look at what the Treasury's doing here. They're getting creamed. It didn't turn out the way that we wanted. It ended up being a stop run that failed hard on the way back down. Maybe this move is too much back down, but that was pretty aggressive in the Treasury. So while there is an iceberg at 12, you see the 5K. U.S. effective federal funds rate at 0.1%.
Uzi Knesset says they just did it in both directions. Flush up and a flush down.
Yeah. Sure caught me off guard, didn't it? The volume on the sell was a lot more than the volume on the buy, though, in all three of them, across the board.
Uzi Knesset says if it makes you feel any better, I got caught in both. The flush up killed a short attempt and the flush down just killed a long attempt lol.
Yeah.
Uzi Knesset says the way she goes.
It traded down way too easily, didn't it? So there's some pot stirring here for sure. I don't know if they're gonna sell, if they won't.
Chopstick7 Life says if TSLA beats earnings, I feel like entire tech sector is going to have a field day.
If Tesla beat earnings, holy shit. But the thing is that so many people are buying into it. Generally speaking, that is not the way it works. You know what I mean? Like if the most popular stock comes in and everybody's buying it, then the what is the word? It always does the ironic thing. It's gonna sell and punish all those traders. I could be very wrong though. And I really don't know enough about Tesla to know whether they're going to match their earnings. I just know that the expectations for them are extremely high.
Chopstick7 Life says, yup, Robinhood traders going to learn what IV Crush is on Wednesday.
Right. Well, we'll see. That's a pretty big iceberg at 12.
Sunday Driver says I predict Tesla will beat earnings. Didn't they say they sold more cars than last quarter?
So this is where Uzi is talking about the seller bailing at 12. That's what that was right there. Well, at 12.5, there wasn't a lot sitting there at 12.5. And the E-mini is coming back down.
Chopstick7 Life says LMAOTSLA is red in pre-market. When did that happen?
Well, I'm not surprised they were up 8%
Smart
yesterday.
TV says is the behavior of entering a trade via buy limit, the same as with a stop order. Regarding slippage, etc. Sorry for my noob questions, carrot.
Hold on a second. The NASDAQ is trading 21%
Sunday Driver
above
says
its
everyone,
100-day
please be
average.
kind and smash the thumbs down button. Tears of joy.
This is my news squad talking about this. So the whole point of a limit order smart TV is that you'll only take that, right? So when I put an order in at 12, I'm getting in the queue, waiting for somebody to market sell into me, and I will always get that price. Okay. A stop order, an exchange stop order is if any volume trades at that price, then your stop order will trigger. Now, my stop orders that I have synthetic stops are a little bit different. Those, they're waiting for the number of limit orders at that price to decrease below a certain level before it buys in. Makes sense? So if the 11.5 had pulled and less than 200 was on bid, then I would have sold. Does that make sense? Because the question that you asked doesn't really make sense to me, so I was trying to answer what I think it is that you need to know. Okay, 13 is 13 gonna go easy too?
Uzi Knesset says, is it just me or is everything mad shaky?
It is. There's something's up.
Sunday Driver says limit order is a good question. I always put in market orders because I tend to buy and hold and don't care. I've had limit orders go unfilled as the market ran from me.
Well, the whole point of reading the order flow, like the big advantage of reading the order flow is that you have a much better idea of where you're going to get filled and where you're not. And especially when it gets fast, then that matters a lot. Because nothing sucks more than when the big move happens and you miss it. And the question is, when should you buy it with a market order or a limit order, right? Like if you were trying to buy right now and you had a limit order at 12 or 12 half, you did not get filled, did you? And we can see that, and you can anticipate that. Okay, so 2,000 to trade 13.
Chopsticks7 Life says first time I ever tried a stop limit order, I accidentally instead just sold my options at a 30% loss. Big F.
I think that some big traders are coming in. Well, I mean, I guess we're already seeing it, but just based off of what we've seen in the treasuries, that kind of a pot stirring in this sort of a situation doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Normally, you do that sort of a thing when you are trying to acquire a lot of contracts. And I believe that that's what happened there. Now, it could happen in range-bound
Sunday
markets.
Driver says I just looked at my portfolio and made a ton yesterday. The big swing in metals is going to net me even more today. I feel like I'm making money on the decay of my civilization.
You made money on one of the biggest bull days of the year, like. Here's the question.
Smart TV says yeah.
Did you make more than 10%? Did you make more than 10%? Because if you were just all in on Tesla calls, you made more than 10% yesterday, right? McCarthy intros bill called the Defend COVID Research from Hackers Act. It would attempt to protect the cure from falling into the wrong hands.
Smart TV says I got it. Sorry for late response. I am at work here in Germany. It's 3 p.m.
Totally fine. We're here for you, not the other way around. Okay, the 13.5 goes a bit easy as well. Then I'm really gonna be like,
Sunday Driver says I didn't make more than 10%. I am making constant gains in my gold and silver.
That's the game. See, when everybody's going up, this is the thing that I think fools people, right? Especially the stock traders. This is one of the things why I think that if you really want to get good at day trading, I would start in futures. Because when you day trade over in stocks, when the market index is going up, you just buy and everybody makes money. But you might not be making as much money as you could have. But all your brain sees is, oh, I made money. I must be a god. But then when you look at it, you realize how much missed opportunity there is. And then when things fall apart, you get destroyed. I don't know what's going to happen with your gold trade.
Uzi Knesset says I am David Portnoy.
Pretty good. The gold has been doing pretty good. And every time that it looks like gold is not doing so well, and then you get a day like today where it just like busts out. And then the actual bad thing happens and they're all selling their gold. This is the hilarious thing. You really have to be in it long term, don't you? Because gold has not been reliable as a day trade at all. As a flight to safety day trade, the gold has been terrible for that. That's still Still the Treasury's specialty. Actually, I'm on that in there. Okay, so there's an iceberg at 13, but they're still hitting into it. I do see the book is kind of flipping now. So they're stacking, and all of a sudden I'm starting to see a lot of limit orders on the offer in the 10-year. But the limit orders hasn't really flipped. Okay.
Sunday Driver says I think the fundamentals for gold and silver are quite good. I've been long gold since it was under $1,000 and silver under $12. Lol.
1800. The silver is. I'll watch out with the silver, dude. When they start talking about silver on CNBC, you bail on that one, because silver is the FOMO trade, right? Silver is the one that everybody goes, well, gold's already up too high. I don't think I can buy gold. I guess I might as well buy silver, and then, right? And then silver goes up way beyond what its industrial use is.
Smart TV says, by the way, I am precious metal consultant. I am invested for so long as well.
Okay, look at that. Stack at 13.5, but then it pulls back to 12. And they hit them at 14, but there's...
Sunday Driver says right now, it's a US dollar play. In the near future, will the US dollar be stronger or much weaker than today? I'm convinced that MMT is in the cards, and that will spell the end of the US dollar.
That I think that you're making way too, so here's the thing is, you're extrapolating something way further than you need to go. And a play like that can leave you vulnerable to significant cognitive biases that could cause you to make a bad decision. Okay. The dollar is going to go down. It is historically high. Here, like in the 90s, is crazy high. So, of course, the dollar is going to come down for sure. Is the dollar going to collapse completely? That's extremely unlikely. But we're definitely running into a time period where the dollar is going to get weaker. Okay, well, the E-mini's been doing its thing down. And they've got a little bit further to go before they're really to an area where you get to the buyers defending and stuff. And you're getting the iceberg at 14. That one looks like that could be profit taking from the guys that were long at 12. They're flooding in still, though. So how much do you think it's going to take to clear 14?
Sunday Driver says dollar will be weaker, and couple that with an AOC-inspired squad with their hands in power, and you have a socialist-style MMT money printing bonanza. There is no way the US dollar doesn't collapse.
Well, I don't think that they'll have. I am extremely doubtful that they will get a veto-proof majority in the Senate. If they actually take over at all, to be honest.
Sunday Driver says why would they need a veto-proof majority if Biden is POTUS?
Because the Republicans will filibuster everything, prevent anything from happening in the Senate, and it'll be just like Obama's first term. Biden might be able to get one thing through that has some bipartisan consensus, and then they'll try and push something through that's extreme, and then the midterms will come along, and everybody will realize how bad of an idea this is, and it'll go back to a Republican Congress. If people don't realize how bad of an idea this is before the election. Something that I was reading the other day that I thought was really interesting.
Juvence Soccer says what's up PP.
Hey, how's it going? New name. Welcome. There was new polling past week or so shows that Donald Trump has regained like 4 points. Like really fast. So that's kind of weird, right? It's like the polling group that they're polling seems to be really flaky. Like
Sunday Driver says on my worst days, I'm envisioning a total Dem-controlled country. House, Senate, presidency, and, perhaps, Supreme Court. Sunday Driver says Dem dominance.
telling ya, dude, when you trade your politics, it always ends in disaster, man. When you trade your politics, you're
Uzi
too
Knesset says if
vulnerable
that happens, it'll never be undone.
you become too vulnerable to your cognitive biases when you trade your politics.
Juvence Soccer says how about the polls during the Hillary and Trump?
Well, yeah. So here's the thing with the polling is that in the hold on, because this is going to be a bit of a monologue. Okay. When you look at the last election, there was a lot of groups of people that the pollsters weren't able to poll very effectively, and I'm sure you've heard about this, a trillion times. And so now people are saying, well, what if the polls are similarly skewed this time and the pollsters still haven't fixed their issues because it seems like that Biden has a much bigger lead and then nobody actually believes that Biden is actually going to win. Well, I argue that what's happening now is different. Last time around, the pollsters had very flawed methodology. This time around, the Donald Trump supporters are actively gaming the polls. That's my position. They don't believe in polling. They are lying to the pollsters. I think they are lying to the pollsters, or they're not getting polled. And if a pollster calls them, they say, "I don't want to talk to you," because I know that I'm doing that. They call me, and depending on who it is, I tell them I don't have time. So the polls are not reliable at all.
Uzi Knesset says yes. Uzi Knesset says I have been called 4 times for polls. Lied to them every time. Uzi Knesset says and I'm a registered Democrat so I get lots of poll calls tongue out.
Seriously. That's so funny, dude. Yeah, it's so. And the thing that's so interesting about it though is the speed at which it flips. So apparently the worst point for polling for Donald Trump was that day when they cleared out the square and he walked across the street to the church and everything
Uzi
like
Knesset
that.
says I especially lie to them when they come to my door. Tell the communists you're voting Trump and they'll come back and throw bricks through your window.
Okay. So now something is happening right now that is kind of similar, right? Because now they've got this whole thing about
Juvence Soccer says TBH there are a lot of Trump supporters that are quite
quiet. Well, the thing is Donald Trump. So another thing you got to remember is that Donald Trump has done something extremely rare in politics. He has mobilized people that normally don't vote, and it seems like most of them still like him. But there was a lot of other people that just voted against Hillary that he's losing, and that's, I think, kind of the difference right now in the polling.
Sunday Driver says I never get poll calls. I do get text spam from both Biden and Trump. I have no idea how they got my number. Unamused.
Dude, the text spam from the Donald Trump campaign is so fucking annoying. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. It's so annoying.
Uzi Knesset says well bro, if we consider the social ostracization of Trump voters, it stands to reason they'd by and large lie about their support. RJ Wheel says the Biden haters are still going to vote Biden. Uzi Knesset says I mean, Trump didn't do that, the leftists did.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I don't get the whole, oh, I need to lie to the pollster because the pollster is gonna out me. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think that they're lying to screw the pollster up because they hate the pollster. And I think there's a significant number and a significant enough people out there doing it to screw up their results, especially in swing states. It's going to be more pronounced in swing states because it's those blue collar worker guys that are the ones that are doing it, and they're all in the swing states. But the thing that's going on right now is this whole thing with Antifa in Portland and the Department of Homeland Security, and that they're abducting protesters and stuff like that.
Uzi
That's
Knesset says only when they come to my door. I lie over the phone to screw with polls. Face to face, which they only come once in election year. I lie because now they know where I live.
gotcha. But this reminds me very much of the square thing. That any time that the Democrats get on TV and are screaming, Donald Trump is becoming an authoritarian dictator, that's when he hurts him the most.
Sunday
In the
Driver
polls.
says if you think the US dollar is getting weaker, and you're allergic to gold, then what currency will appreciate against the US dollar?
Well, I think that the big play right now is either going to be the euro, which is not really doing all that great today. But I bet you that the Swiss franc is doing good. Swiss franc tends to be a pretty good flight to safety currency in that sort of a situation. Yeah. Look at that. The bid up is pretty good. They're getting up to the highs really easy. So that little head fake lower, interesting. But okay, so here comes the open, and the sellers are pushing hard already. They've got quite a bit of room to run, but then I think that the buyers will try and make it bounce. Let's see if they just completely wash them out or how this happens. I think that this bull run in the treasuries, um, I have to be. Oh man, the tick started at 1500. Um, yeah, I think that you have to be expecting a sell based off of the way the treasuries sold. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that this is a gap up and retrace. Is the EU project now too big to succeed? What? I have to read that one. That's interesting. Interesting language. It's not that the headline shocks me, but the language is funny. McDonald's UK over 700 restaurants will reopen for dine-in on Wednesday across the UK and Ireland. Table service only. What could go wrong? Well, I'll tell you what could go wrong. Here's the thing.
Juven's Soccer says, do you take stocks options?
I think that Tesla is going to miss earnings, but we'll see. I'm not an options guy. So here's where you come into for this channel. Okay. Number one, we trade futures, which is a better day trading mechanism. And two, I'm focused on macro and fundamentals and not a bunch of mystical mumbo jumbo that doesn't actually work. So if you want to get ideas on what the best stock is to trade and you're looking to follow somebody into some sort of pump and dump scam, then I'm not your guy, because I'm the one that's going to tell you that that's a loser's game. What you want to do is you want to know more about the markets
Uzi
than the other
Knesset
market
says Pumperdoodle.
participants and make plays based off of fundamentals when the majority of the market misunderstands what's going on. I was probably too rough on that. I was like, here's my opportunity. Here's my opportunity to make my case to a guy. Why all of these other guys are not really worth your time. Okay, a 3.7 magnitude earthquake hit 14 miles east of Enterprise in southwest Utah this morning.
Juven's Soccer says, you're saying options are not valuable.
I'm saying that if you trade options, that there's probably a 99% chance that over the course of a year that you're going to blow your account. If you trade futures, you probably have about a 95% chance over the course of a year blowing your account. But with proper risk management and an understanding of the fundamentals, you can stand a chance.
Juven's Soccer says lol. Stephen Wright says LMAO.
I think it's funny because okay, so
Sunday Driver says, I was a pump and dump king after my divorce. Smile with a halo.
They're going to come back to the buyer's cost basis at 14 or 13.5 really. It's really more like 13.5 right now, but I'm right in there with him. I don't know if that's really where I should be.
RJ Wheel says it's hard to lose 5 Go trading stocks. It takes about a half hour in futures if you work hard in ficus.
No, I mean, overall for retail trading, it seems like that the chances of winning of success, it's like 5%. So
RJ
I have
Wheel
a
says
theory
5
on
grams,
this.
not 5 grams.
If you're trading something that is random,
Uzi Knesset
then
says, want me to dust the leaves in your ficus tree?
Oh, that's what he's talking about. It's a tree. Wait, what is a ficus tree? Ficus tree. It's a fig. Yeah, they're okay looking. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Hold on a second. If you trade something that is random, that is like your entries and exits are like purely random, okay? And you're trading with the risk reward that almost everybody in retail trades, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna lose money every time. But the thing that's interesting about it is that you're gonna have time periods where you're gonna do really, really well. So, for instance, you're trading something that's random and you're buying in equities, you probably think that you got it. And so there's a lot of people out there that think that they're just trading gods because they're in a bull market, right? And then when the market starts chopping sideways or it falls, it'll be an absolute disaster. Okay. Why? Because the reality is what you're trading is random. And that is the reason why 95% of retail traders trade or fail. So, what is something that is not random? Well, are there technical analysis indicators out there that are not random? Oh, probably. I've had people show me some pretty good results in the past, but there's only one thing that I know of that I know for sure is not random, and that is that markets respond to news and expectations about where money is going to flow from and to. So I say, learn the fundamentals. If you went and you did a survey, what strategy are you using? I bet you go on Wall Street Bets or you go on, r/day trading like the subreddits. Okay. Fundamentals and news. People whose day trading strategy is based on fundamentals and news is going to be the very, very bottom. It's going to be the very, very bottom. And I say to you, if you want to be in that small subsection of people that make money from trading, you're going to have to not do what the majority of day traders do. And what did the majority of day traders do? They put a bunch of indicators on their chart and they try and figure out some tendency in it. So that's what it makes us different. So we're primarily trading fundamentals.
Sunday Driver says, Seth, congrats. You were over
Yeah.
3,000 subscribers.
Yeah, it happened during the stream yesterday. I'm super stoked about it. I did not think that we would get to 3,000 this quickly. You think that we'll get to 4,000 before the end of the year? That could be tough, but if I make a couple of really good videos, I think we'll do it. I think that the next video that we need to make is trading in fast markets. That'll be a good video. That'd be a good video to do for 3,000.
RJ Wheels says my typing atrocious today. RJ Wheels says when the bear hits Robin Hood will have to change its name to the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Right. Well, when it was in March, man, those Robin Hood traders got destroyed, right? But then the bear didn't actually end up being all that bad in the end. It was very quick. It was very quick. If we had a real bear market, like the 2008 bear market, for instance, then oh yeah, Robin Hood would be out of business. They would be out too many times, and everybody that's trading on there would be like, I'm not trading with these guys anymore. They're already losing business. The market here says there's not a bearish tweet today, and our boxes are full of chase laggards trade ideas from sales guys.
Sunday Driver says as long as there is volume, then trading firms can do okay. It's when there is no volume that they fail.
Am I bearish right now? I feel like I am. I feel like I am. I feel like I am. I was like typing out a comment to the marketer because I was like, well, they say there's not a bearish tweet today. And I'm like, well, there sure are a lot of sell orders out there. New low. Treasuries back up on their highs. Stacking 15, 2000s.
Jeff says need some help with my puts.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're getting it here, Jeff. I don't know, man, though. After yesterday, like I'm a little concerned because I have a thing with some puts in Tesla is a sim trade because I never trade the options very often, but at 1500, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, I could end up being right and it's still expire worthless because they just expire 1500. You know, I don't know if there's much they can do to save puts now. Now, if you're buying them here up at the top, maybe that's a different story, right? President Donald Trump acknowledged Monday that there's been a big flare up of COVID 19 cases, but he also said that passing a new federal aid package is something that's very tough. Hmm. Okay, they sold 15. There's a definite level break setup there. 3670. So that's a 50-50, so I wouldn't be trading that one in this situation because that one is likely to be just the same thing that we saw at the bottom, but the other way around. But the momentum does seem to be on the bull side in the treasury. I don't know. There was a pretty okay stop run lower, and look, they're already back up and testing the open again. There's some pretty decently large numbers trading in the 3262 area as well. They are balanced here. Like the whole pullback that we were looking to see in the E-mini, that completed. It went exactly to where we thought it was going to go. And they are now balanced. So now we will see if they decide to push through the spread. If they decide to push through the spread, the first target that I would be looking for is yesterday's high. Okay. Now, overall, we have traded about um uh, yeah, we've traded about 9,000 contracts short so far, and they're back to the open. Hmm. If they break out on the high end here, then there's going to be a really ugly puke. I think I have to stick with my call though. Chewy says he's doubling down on his short position after the open. Okay. Mm-mm.
Vlad Stolyarov says don't short today, short wet if any bad earnings is better.
Yeah, I don't know, Vlad. It's the thing is I actually think that on a day trade basis that a short makes a lot of sense today. I don't think that you short today thinking like, oh, the market's going to fall apart or anything like that. But could they retrace the gap? Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of people trying to short it for it to retrace the gap back to yesterday's high. And the way that I'm seeing the stirring the pot in the 10-year treasury and the move up now since then, I think that you have a lot of supporting evidence for it.
Vlad Stolyarov says they will try to stop the gap from filling ideally if bullish.
Yeah. But we'll see. Because right here, where they've been at on the lows is basically like the overnight buyer's cost basis. So if they start to push below that, you're going to get this situation where the seller's going to start losing money. Sorry, where the buyer's going to start losing money. And they could very easily puke down to either yesterday's high or yesterday's close. Um, there's a lot of positioning that I see that I think, you know, the positioning makes the trade likely. The positioning makes the trade likely, and I think
Jeff
that the
says how do
fundamentals
you
are in
figure
line
the
with it.
overnight cost basis? Never heard that term.
That's a secret. So the way that we determine that is we look at literally every limit order that's gone through, and then we try and match them all up, starting from the bottom to the top, and then starting from the top to the bottom. And whatever orders are left over that aren't matched, we take the volume weighted average price of that, and that is the cost basis. So essentially, it is the volume weighted average price of the open positions on an average basis. Hence why that's like the line.
Vlad Stolyarov says I look at UVXY for hints to short and it's not doing well.
Mm.
Jeff says my goodness, does your software do this for you?
So this is a relatively new concept that was that I read on futures.io, and I programmed it up in an afternoon, and I've made a couple of enhancements to it. It seems to be going okay. And yeah, I don't know. It's a complicated beast, I'll tell you that much. It's probably the most complicated algorithm I've written in trading. Even then after that though, it's not terrible. Okay, so they are really setting up the level break at 15.5. Like uh let's see what he does. That is enough. Since I already have some profit baked in and everything, that is enough that I can kind of take a little bit of a risk here.
Vlad Stolyarov says also I look at oil.
You look at oil. Well, oil was up pretty big overnight too, huh? Okay, so when I talk about a level break, what I'm talking about is this absorption on the bid at the high. See that 48.06 at the high? So if it is a level break, and in this situation it's a 50-50. But if it is a level break, what will happen is they will pull their orders there and they will trade right through it. And you will see stops into 16.5 and 17. But like I said, we don't have a clear trend day yet. So when it's a trend day, that level break will work every time. When it's not a trend day, it's kind of a crapshoot. So let's see if they do it. The E-mini was trying the highs there. Look at all that volume up at the high at 32.65. So that is a little bit concerning what I just saw there in the E-mini. That could go either way. That could go either way. But the treasuries are holding their bids firm. And they're doing it in the 5-year too. We should reset this. Not necessarily. Well, there's a little bit of it going on in the 30-year. But the 30-year you can see isn't quite holding its 11. Okay, so now it is flipped, which is that the bid is stronger than the offer. And then it stacks back up. But there's about 600 that's stacking there. The minimum is 3,000 that I've seen so far. 28. But they've hit 2,000 into it. So, and he's stacking more. And the E-mini is pushing through. Not like a stop run in the E-mini, but it is bullish. It is a pretty bullish run. The Treasury is holding it. How long do you think they can hold that for, though? That is really interesting. Okay. I hear my baby is talking to mom upstairs. He's always going, "Rah, rah, rah." I've been teaching him to go rar, and I think that he's interpreted that as rah, rah, all the time. And look at right there in the 5-year too. I don't know about this one, guys. The funny thing is that if after that buying there, if the sell comes back in and brings them back to the open, then I think that they're gonna bust right through that. This is not at all the way that I've seen it be. This is different. This is very different.
Jeff says yesterday internals were weak. Today they are on fire.
Well, the tick is not really giving me very extreme readings. Even on that bull run, they didn't really go that high up. What about the trend and everything like that? Yeah, the advanced decliners and up volume, down volume is definitely a lot better than it was yesterday. So there's like an overnight pivot that they just crossed at 32.66. I've now absorbed 6,000 at 15.5.
Vlad Stolyarov says it's as like .com bubble in NQ.
Yeah, but look at the volume that's trading it. It's not quite what it was yesterday. So the pattern that I've seen a lot lately is the E-mini, when they go into regular session highs, you just see stop runs. Like, it just straight up stop run. Now, that time, I'm sure that there was a lot of stops in that move up, but it was not really like the fast and furious like that we normally see. And when I look at the amount traded at each price, there was a lot trading at those prices. And even more curious to me is that through all of this, the treasuries continue to hold at this spot with a big amount of volume going across between 15.5 and 16. Okay. Well, so here comes the bears coming down. Another thing is that the cumulative delta in the E-mini is still near the lows. They did not.
Sunday driver says my resting heart rate is 43 beats per minute.
There was a lot of orders fighting that. It is incredibly unusual. Well, if it's a range-bound day, that this could still be in line with a range-bound day. John Harwood, Fox News poll on whether voters think the two candidates possess qualities needed in a president. Intelligence, Biden plus 15, Trump minus 10. You gotta be kidding me. Biden is a dumb as a brick. It's funny that, well, so I'm wondering, it depends on how the debates go. You have a situation here with the politics where the debates could be so incredibly important. And if Biden underperforms at the debate, it's going to hurt him a ton because of the attributes that appear to be giving him the edge right now. Compassion, though, I don't think that Trump will ever win on compassion. So, in fact, the way that those numbers are coming out, because judgment, Biden plus 16, Trump minus 13, mental soundness, Biden plus 8, Trump minus 8, those just seem like way skewed. Okay, man, this is going to be... If I had left my original order up in there, I would have gotten filled on one contract already. I've seen this before. This is so like... But you gotta remember, you gotta keep in mind, guys, the level break is my favorite
Jeff
thing.
says strengthening resting cell liquidity at 3,275.
Yeah. So when you see that absorption at just below the high of the day in the 10-year, my favorite trade, but it's not really, it only works on a trend day. Okay. But it is not the first time I have seen it where you get up there and instead of them pulling the offer at 16 and running through or flipping back down around, that you just see a ton of volume go into it. And that's what we're seeing right now. And this again can go one of two ways. But if they break through, if they actually do buy through this, you are gonna see crazy shit. Okay, so something's going on over here in the E-mini. Now they're back to the open. They're piling in. 10K on each side. Hot damn. Hot damn. So do you see the order stacking at 16.5 on top of me? I think I still want to take that. I'm really, what I'm seeing right now is making me think that maybe I should pull my order up to 17, but it's so tight. Okay, so there they went. 14. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, but oh, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Vlad Stolyarov says market looking strong.
The treasuries look strong, man. That was insane. I'm probably seem like way overly excited because I know that most people don't care about treasuries, and that is unusual. And for them to tick up and then absorb 6K almost on the bid after the uptick, after they just plowed through 14,000 contracts, that is crazy. Well, there are a lot sitting on there at 16.5, so and we are quite high up here. The E-mini is doing strange things too. We get like upside bar, flip back up, flip back down. It
Vlad
looks like
Stolyarov
they're
says if
trying to do
dollar is weak,
something.
do people buy treasuries?
Not necessarily, no. The correlation between the dollar and the treasuries is incredibly complicated and beyond my own understanding, to be honest with you. But, like the biggest thing is going to be when things look bad, people are going to buy treasuries. The treasury is the flight to safety trade, right? So there's been a lot. 16 is where we've been for a while. Okay, so let's remember that. Okay. There's probably a lot of reason for a ton of volume to go through at 16 because a ton of volume has gone through at 16 in the past week and in the past month. But that's absorbing a ton, right? That is somebody that wants to be in cash. And look at the E-mini, the way that it's fighting. They made the bull run. It did not turn out the way that it usually does. Did not behave the way that it's been for the past like 3 months. Past 3 months, they hit that high of the day and they just go. Okay, so they did make 16 go offer. 13K. Okay, but now they're back to the open. Are you going to bounce the open again? I don't know about this, guys. Okay. So there was a little bit of a sweep up. Ex Morgan Stanley staffers want out of NDAs to discuss NDAs to discuss racism at Morgan Stanley, apparently. Been seeing that at a lot of companies, haven't we? So is this my... They were saying last week that maybe we would have a stimulus bill on Tuesday, and now they're saying, I want to see one next week, is what Pelosi just said. Okay, Jake Sherman. The coronavirus relief talks are barely 12 hours old, and a few truths
Vlad
have already
Stolyarov
revealed
says money
themselves.
printer go BR hue.
1. This round of negotiations is likely to be a long slog. It's hard to believe the talks will wrap up by the end of July. 2. Hurdles need to be cleared. The White House and Senate Republicans have to get on the same page. That's not happened yet, not even close, and Republicans need to do battle with Democrats. This is going to... I would sell this. It seems inevitable that this fight will feature plenty of turbulence at the moment. Several major issues have surfaced. Senators want more money for testing, but the administration says there's $9 billion for testing that has gone unspent. Senators are pretty much uniformly opposed to the payroll tax cut, and the administration is pushing for it. Senators want more money for the CDC for vaccine disbursement, while the administration is still reviewing options as to how to distribute an eventual vaccine. There's a major fight over Defense Department money as it relates to the Defense Production Act. The president wants to condition some education funding on the reopening of schools, which legislators oppose. It's tough to see which administration priorities survive here. Okay. I'm going to link you to this. Okay, so buyers, oh man, this is an incredible battle. The sellers want to sell hard. This has got to be institutional players knowing that the political volatility is coming through, selling it, and the all of the technical buyers trying to buy the momentum in the E-mini, trying to buy it. If the sellers win, because the thing is I really thought, well, if the buyers win, you should get some stops because there's a lot of contracts short. But now it's they did that and nothing happened. If it comes back down on the other side, judging on who the players likely are and everything else like that, I bet you that they just get killed if we go back down to yesterday's high and all that. Ooh, it gets really interesting, guys. I haven't felt this much intensity in a long time. You can't tell by how much I'm yapping. I'm really excited here. See how this turns out. Okay, the sellers took it. I think that if the S&P 500 wants a good stimulus bill, that they need to sell off here. Totally serious. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Well, they came back to the open. Buyers trying to hold it. Treasury ticks up. Again. I said in my tweet I don't know who wins, but obviously I have a position in the Treasury. I don't think that you put that much volume in at the high unless you're serious. And now it's equalized at 16, meaning that you're able to see market orders go both ways. Or is a bunch of you guys saying some stuff that I didn't have the reader on?
Jeff says, yeah, finally. Smash those bids.
Sunday Driver says my resting heart rate is 43 beats per minute.
So your heart rate is pretty much normal.
Vlad Stolyarov says yesterday was extremely boring, rally today is extremely boring, range.
You say it's a boring range? Man. I am so excited by what I'm seeing right now, man. I don't know how it's going to turn out. It could just end up being range and dead, but this is crazy stuff, Vlad. We saw 14K trade at 16 and then 14K to trade it back down.
Was a little better.
That's insanity. Bid is stronger. I really think that they're going to sell this shit. They're going to go to yesterday's
Vlad
high.
Stolyarov says volumes are here today.
Yeah. Well, and how much did we end up absorbing up at the top, man? Oh, it's actually not a ton, but at 32.62, it's 21,000. We're seeing very high volume, very high volume. Somebody is taking on a lot of risk here. Both sides are taking on a lot of risk. How are okay? The euro and the 6J they're all going up. The dollar is getting weaker here. What about oil? Oil's still up. It's been a little bit of a wild ride, but it's still up. Okay, now they're hitting into 16.5, 4,000, almost 5,000. Anthony Fauci says he was pleased to see the president wearing a mask. That turnaround with the mask thing from Donald Trump is pretty hilarious, I think. because um, I don't think that Donald Trump ever had a significant real feel about it. I think that he was cautious about it because his supporters online seem to really hate the masks. And now he's basically going against them, and the supporters online are going to have a hard time. This is going to be a hard week for them. hmm Okay, so bears are making a pretty good push. I see the market cumulative delta continues to push aggressively short, but there are some
Vlad
people there
Stolyarov
trying
says
to
maybe a
buy it.
short starting now, not sure.
Look at 10K at 16. How's our Tesla doing?
Vlad Stolyarov says 3,258 understops for longs on S. I think to continue any direction.
Well, yeah, for them to hit the low of the day. I don't know. Uh, when I look at it right now,
Uzi
they're
Knesset says it
still.
kinda funny that your volume numbers are double mine lol.
Am I getting? Oh, you know what? Maybe I am. You know what? Oh, I might be. I might be getting doubles. Let's see. Let's see what we get. I think it's still a lot of volume going through up here. Even if you have the numbers, it's a lot of volume, right? Okay, so let's clear that.
Uzi Knesset says the fact that can happen really drives home how much bullshit we're fed lol.
Well, so what could happen is I have two analyzers on there, and that might give me double volume. I'm not sure. It wouldn't be the first time that's happened to me, but it's still a ton of volume trading up there. That's still 10Ks trading at 16, right? Oh, we'll see if that changes anything. We'll reset these. I'm still excited. The thing is, oh no, you know what? Now what's trading in the E-mini? That might be double too. No, I don't think so because the volume profile. Okay, this right here. That is a lot. 20s, that is a lot. Now, the thing that the E-mini's got going for it on the bull side is that the dollar does appear weak. I think that the weakness is probably because of what's going on in Congress. But that's not a buy for equities. It's not. Okay, now they're going to eat a little into 15.5. Even though the 5 years up. Let's reset it. Because it must be off. So we must be skewed a little bit with the spreads are changing. The end of next week. People don't understand what this means. To be honest with you guys right here, I am now surprised that we are not already to yesterday's high, if not below. And I'll tell you
Uzi
why.
Knesset says I do winking face.
The jobless benefits end at the end of the month, but the distributions are only made on Fridays or whatever it is. Okay, so because next week is how's it work? Okay, right? They're only made on the weekends. So because next week it happens on a weekend, this is the last stimulus payment. Do you understand? Like for all those people that are on unemployment and getting the extended benefits and everything, this is their last payment that they get on Friday if Congress doesn't pass another bill. Pelosi is saying they want a new bill by the end of next week. So what does that mean? It means that people aren't going to get their $600. This is bad, bad, bad. Their Congress didn't straight up say it. That the market hasn't realized it yet, but this is bad. Aren't the rent protect like all of it? Yeah. I don't know. Am I wrong, or has the market just not realized what's going on?
Uzi Knesset says Republicans killed themselves with the CARES Act. Thrift 12 says what is bad. Vlad Stolyarov says my conspiracy theory is market moves against 90% of open positions and everyone loses.
Well, but the problem is that volume-wise,
RJ
it's
Wheel
equal,
says not realized.
and there's no real way to calculate the number of open positions, unfortunately. I wish there was.
RJ Wheel says this is going to collapse.
It is. I think
Uzi
it
Knesset
is.
says the entire platform, against socialism, collapsed when the Republicans agreed to the CARES Act.
Sunday Driver says the market isn't realizing a lot of things. It's Fed money making its way into stonks.
I feel very strongly at the moment that you sell this. This is bad. Huh? This is going to be my best trade. No joke. I'm that confident. I feel like this is going to be the best trade
Uzi
I've ever
Knesset
made.
says Vlad Stolyarov says S test low of opening range, can it Barrick?
Oh, it broken. Look at the stops. I would like to take this opportunity to say to all of the technical analysis traders that were buying the E-mini today, maybe you should stop trading technical analysis. Just a thought.
Jeff says buy icebergs are going off.
Get fucked, buyers. Oh. You can tell when I'm feeling like the vengeance. I should be careful here, because I clearly feel really strongly about this one. Okay, where are we at? 55. Yesterday's high was 50. Yesterday's close was 43. Pivot below that is 36.
RJ Wheel says good technical traders weren't buying up their Seth.
You think so, RJ? I think that 25,000 lots worth of technical buyers bought up there, to be exact. There was a lot of buying up there.
Vlad Stolyarov says technically NQ can drop 1%, but will it? Wojciech Norinsky says do you want to learn how to trade? Come and join our online academy. For more information, contact me on my IG, _the_Henry.
It's been a while since we've had like actual real spam, huh? You said good ones. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Uzi?
Uzi Knesset says I need to learn how to trade.
Sunday driver says damn, another Zoom meeting, rip me.
Uzi Knesset says I trust Volchesky Vladvinskanov. Uzi Knesset says do I get free AK-47 if I join room?
You get a free AK-47?
Jack says come on Trump, tweet the China deal is dead. Uzi Knesset says that'll get me in there honestly. Esarejo says Trump's days are counted.
Okay, well, we're still kind of sitting here at 16.5. They have traded into 17 a little bit, but they're pulling back.
Jeff says seller exhaustion at 54.
Pompeo's talking right now too. Getting Florida numbers here. Florida numbers actually not too bad though. Amazon just lost $50 billion in market cap in 10 minutes. What?
Vlad Stolyarov says if it's bad. Vlad Stolyarov says I don't think this market is rational. I would wait for TSLA earnings to make short moves.
Let's open up. Okay, the Florida coronavirus numbers aren't too bad. Yeah, this is bad.
Vlad Stolyarov says S futures back into range box.
Oh yeah, Amazon is down. They closed yesterday at 3,200. They're now at 3,150. The treasuries just came back there so easily. Well, I was not paying attention. Where does that put us? That puts us right at the cost basis again, though. In other words, good buy here.
Vlad Stolyarov says what does low reading in tick tell you? Vlad Stolyarov says no extreme pressure?
The tick. So the tick says to me that the sell was definitely a lot stronger. Fine.
PRTRADERSOS says tick on NT or JS. Vlad Stolyarov says $tick on NYSE.
In Ninja Trader, it is carrot tick.
Vlad Stolyarov says in TOS.
But you have to be paying for the data. It's like $7 for NYSE indexes on CQG. I don't think you can get it on Rhythmic, actually.
Vlad Stolyarov says Think or Swim has it.
Yeah, you could get it on Thinkorswim delayed or
Jeff
whatever.
says chocolate fudge Pop-Tarts are the best. Slightly smiling face.
What? Okay, you know what? I'm feeling like really thirsty. I think I've just been like way too excited. But I think I can leave this. I'm gonna do it. Got everything set. It's fine. Okay. Looks like I got filled. Where was I? Let's see here. That was... Nah.
Vlad Stolyarov says volatility rose a bit in UVXY. Maybe we do get a move now somewhere.
$15. Okay. Apparently, there was a spat between AOC and somebody else in Congress. Do we see the book changing? Actually, I do a little bit. Defense CEOs seek more money for Pentagon and new stimulus bill. Zero Hedge asks, why did COVID end all wars? A little bit of selling there down to the bottom of the near term range.
PRTRADERSOS says AOCILL hold comments.
Right. I don't completely understand the argument that they're having. I'm sure that like hot air and so forth will give me a better synopsis later today. Actually, let's go back. Maybe because apparently the story hit 30 minutes ago. Nah, I see that they're talking about the New York Times planning to dox Tucker Carlson thing now, but apparently they acquiesced on that and weren't going to publish it. Was what I last heard about that one. Lows of the day. Go, 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 go. Chewy says, looks like I won't be able to make this position full. Oh. Well, he's a problem. So he's been short, but we're only almost just barely coming to his where he got in. So
PRTRADERSOS says need to fill in 48 to 57.
yeah, I think 3250 is extremely likely. Well, they did break a new low, by just a bit. Cumulative delta continues to be very, very negative.
Jeff says good my put strikes are 3,235.
Well, I don't know about 35. So I see like 43 and 36.
PRTRADERSOS says another nice gap 32.50. Someone is going to want 3,300.
Yeah. Anyways, each one of those points, it becomes less and less likely, and I'm not sure. The action that I've seen in treasuries, though, certainly suggests that it's possible. Let's come over and check what the VIX says. The VIX says 32.38. Target 1. Versus with the 19, it would be 32.42. That seems long. Yeah, yesterday's close, I think, is a really good target. Yesterday's high and yesterday's close are both going to be pretty solid targets. They're getting a pretty good pullback there. They're back to the seller's cost basis.
Vlad Stolyarov says I think they might try to push up here.
There could try to scare people out here for sure. Okay. In a brief but heated exchange, which was overheard by a reporter, Yoho told Ocasio-Cortez she was disgusting for recently suggesting that poverty and unemployment are driving a spike in crime in New York City
RJ
during the
Wheels says at
coronavirus
least a
pandemic.
retest of previous high.
Ocasio-Cortez shot back, telling Yoho he was being rude. Well, it was being rude, but the two then parted ways.
Vlad Stolyarov says oil stocks doing extremely well.
The two parted ways. Ocasio-Cortez headed into the building while Yoho joined by Representative Roger Williams began descending towards the House office building. A few steps down, Yoho offered a parting thought to no one in particular. Fucking bitch, he said. That kind of confrontation hasn't happened to me ever.
Nothing to do with defund the police insane movement. AOC as a joke.
I've never had that kind of abrupt, disgusting kind of disrespect levied at me. What a load of bullshit. She gets that kind of crap every fucking day. Wow, you are really trying to squeeze it playing the victim. Really? Okay, like listen, in all fairness to Ocasio-Cortez, she gets a lot of shit, right? Probably never like from another congressman or like in person, but come on. Now all of a sudden, oh, my feelings are hurt. Yeah, she's playing it up. She's playing it up because she thinks that you're going to get like a, oh, Republicans are sexist. Well, it might work out for her. I think it's going to help her. Hate to say it, but I think that she's got the edge on this one. McConnell says next relief bill will include stimulus checks. Oh, okay. So let me get this straight, guys. Let me see if I understand this correctly.
Vlad Stolyarov says short will start covering if this is the bounce.
We have the NASDAQ at all-time highs. S&P 500 is at all-time highs. Stocks like Tesla are moving up 10% in a day. But it's essential that we give everybody stimulus checks in the next bill, or the economy is going to fall apart. I was checking. How many contracts I had on. BOC reduces the amount of money market purchases from 20% to 20% from 40%. That's not good either. What are we seeing that's good? Everything that I see is bad. Okay, good was Florida. Florida coronavirus cases were good. Well, doesn't look like buyers are giving up. Today, for the Republican House minority, Mike Lillis scoops that Ted Yoho called AOC a fucking bitch. In a closed meeting, the Freedom Caucus goes for Liz Cheney's jugular. What? What did they say to Liz Cheney? I have mixed feelings about Liz Cheney. Matt Gaetz and Thomas Massie both got on mics and went after Liz Cheney for backing Massie's primary opponent per source in the room. Now Jim Jordan is laying into Cheney for all the times she has broke with Trump and started listing them off. He said it'd be better if their conference chair helped Trump instead of going after him. Cheney did not back down from the confrontation. She defended Fauci. She told Gates, I look forward to seeing your HBO documentary. She told Massive, that is, whoa, wow. That is some real drama. You don't get that kind of crap unless something bad is going down, guys. Market doesn't care. This isn't market moving news though. It's flavor for me, but it's not something that the market pays attention to, is it? And you're getting in. Well, we're at the end of the counter trend period. We're after the end of the counter trend period, we started moving back up again. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, the treasuries
Sunday
are at a
driver
point
says
where
I'm
they
back.
could totally
I
reverse,
survived,
but
somehow.
they could totally reverse here, but I don't know. We were definitely starting to look like we were in a this is really going to fall apart environment, and it's so far seems to have saved itself so far. So could be wrong.
Jeff says bounced right off of strong seller exhaustion 54 area. Shopping for a
Yeah.
casket for my puts.
Well, that 54 area, that was like some single prints. Yeah. But I didn't really see. Well, what did we see down here? I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. But the key thing is that they're back above that 62 area, which is like really crazy. Like in the larger scheme of things, it's really quite crazy if you think about it, given how much volume traded there. I mean, I could still be right in the long run, but it might just like hit them all at once, you know? Like I could just be early. Anushin is in the capital. He said his next goal is to deal by the end of next week. I asked him if he's dropped the payroll tax cut since it has next to no support among Senate Republicans, and he said, of course not. I don't think they're going to do it. Like, even if they do, there's got to be people out there putting shorts on betting that it won't. That's got to have been what the pre-market action was. Well, that and just retracement, because honestly, we really are quite high. Like, even compared to yesterday. Okay, so now they're accusing some Chinese spies of trying to steal secrets about U.S. vaccines. U.S. prosecutors accuse 2 Chinese hackers of stealing trade secrets and targeting firms working on COVID-19 vaccine. That's interesting. If nothing else, that's interesting. Mm-hmm.
PRTRADERSOS says tax cuts, stimulus, etc. are going to drive market over next 8 weeks. That's my bet.
Oh yeah. The longer on this goes, hmm. Just the fact that it's like the end of next week that is when they're even going to pass the bill is bearish to me.
Thrift12 says, what did you trade today?
I got a pretty good trade in the 10-year, but we haven't like played it out all the way. I might end up being wrong. We're still kind of like one of the things we got to remember is that I'm still like not serious this week. I was going really good there for a second and I got really excited and it just magically bought back up for no apparent reason. Um my trade might still work out. I'm really weirded out by this situation though, because I see a situation where the chances that there is a lapse in unemployment insurance.
PRTRADERSOS says, I hope the US gets income tax removed and hopefully the young communist country of Canada will need to follow. Ace Trades
Hey,
says,
how you
hey
doing?
kids. What did I miss? How did everyone do?
I'm still in my trade. I caught it short, but I've left it on, so I didn't take the profit. Should have, but I only have one contract on. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, the chances of
Vlad
there being a
Stolyarov says,
lapse
momentum is still
is
to
really
upside.
high.
BC VIX super dead and no fear.
Oh, we're gonna run out of requests here. Anyways, the chances of unemployment insurance payments lapsing are really high based on what we just heard from this conference. Because remember, they wanted to have a deal this week, and they had this conference to discuss the bill and figure out where everybody was and put something together, and they were miles apart. Even Republicans in the administration were miles apart. So now Pelosi wants a bill by the end of next week. They're going to put together a bill, and they're not going to pass that shit. No way. There's going to be drama. There's going to be drama. And the market's not going to like it. You're not going to get your stimulus. Like the market's been pricing in that they're going to get stimulus. It's crazy that they feel like that they need the stimulus so badly, but that's the world that we're in. There's going to be drama over it. That's bearish, in my opinion. But market doesn't seem to care. So am I wrong? You going to tell me that I'm wrong, or am I early? If I'm early, that's crazy. Like if I'm early, that's really disturbing that this market is that far out of whack with what is actually going on the ground that they could miss something that big. I have a goal to have a stimulus bill by the end of the week, says Mnuchin. Yeah. Okay, so probably a lot of traders are sitting there saying, okay, so now the timeline has been set and we'll see what happens. There must not be a lot of people really looking to make a call. But it does look like you're getting another one of these unreal kind of buys. Treasury did tick up for us. It's a little equalized so far, though. So there's the open again. UK coronavirus deaths rises by 110 versus 11 the day before. Coronavirus pandemic showing no signs of slowing down in Latin America. So now I'm seeing a bunch of negative headlines. And they're claiming that the hackers worked for Chinese intelligence and stole intellectual property. And President Trump, the virus came from China. They should never have been allowed to get out. They could have stopped it. They could have stopped it easily. They chose not to. Boom. Okay. That's not, man. Show me something that proves me wrong here. Don't understand. Hmm. So it's gotten really tight here. Okay. A little bit of a change there. What the hell? Salt Lake Tribune, if anything positive has come from coronavirus, it's that I have reacquired the simple joy of sitting in my backyard watching the birds loot our trees, knowing that life will go on even if we don't. Dude, if you're sitting in your backyard watching the birds thinking about that I'm going to die, but the birds won't, and maybe that's a good thing, like you've got a really fucked up view on life. Maybe you should consider whether your outlook is rational. Okay, so there was a little bit of a stop run there. The 5-year had a couple of trade into 25 and 3/4, 7 trade. So somebody probably not happy about that one. They're absorbing on the bid at 12, 15.5. And I'm starting to get clicks now too. I am getting the clicky clicks. Come on. Yes, there we go. U.S. says Chinese hackers targeted companies in 11 nations and accuses Chinese hackers of stealing terabytes of data. You know what we should do? We should slap sanctions on them for trying to hack our vaccines. Oh, that's nice. Some good news. Alex Trebek says he's responding exceptionally well to treatment for pancreatic cancer and expects to mark his 2-year survival next February. 2 years. Has it really been that long? Okay. Antibody testing reveals that more people have been infected with COVID-19 than confirmed testing shows, though most Americans are still vulnerable. Ooh, get down, go down. Yes, thank you. Ah. 4K at 16, huh? Secretary of State Pompeo calls for a global coalition to push back against China's. He took aim at China leader Xi Jinping, saying his government exploitation of the coronavirus disaster to further its own interests has been disgraceful. Yes, so Paul Krugman here tweeting, most workers will be cut off this weekend. Expanded unemployment is for the reference week ending on or before the 31st, and the reference week starts Saturday or Sunday. We are going over this cliff. He is confirming what I am saying, guys. Sell this. I shouldn't say that. Take your own trades. But my opinion is this is a hard sell, and the market doesn't realize it. There will be a lapse in unemployment insurance. Based on what we have learned today, there will be a lapse. The big, ugly, scary thing that the market's been scared about this whole time and has been ignoring, which is that we're all just going up on stimulus, and when it ends, what's going to happen? It's happening. NQ is much weaker now. The planet is fine. The people are fucked. George Carlin. That's funny. Is your study material on your YouTube channel? I have a. You go to the main channel. There's a list of my analysis and education videos that I make from time to time. Okay, well, pretty good downturn there, but it's recovering pretty okay again. The Treasury still looks agitated, though. I agree. Need more stimulus or else, right? But I mean, the whole thing is that it's crazy that we need this. So, like, to me, based on the economic situation, the response should be we extend unemployment insurance another month, with the change that you don't make more than you were making at your regular job. In fact, let's extend it, but have it be like 80% of your benefit of what you were making when you were working. Okay. And see if people go back to work and then look at it again in a month. But this whole like, we've got to do this and we've got to give all of the governments a certain amount of billions of dollars and we have to give people another check. Because I'm not so sure that the check did anything. I think that everybody, that was smart just put it into the market. I don't know. The market is being driven by speculative money with nowhere to go, aided by massive Fed liquidity. There will be a lapse, but I'm convinced they'll pass another benefits package. Well, I think that in the end, they will pass another benefits package, maybe, probably. But there's going to be a lot of drama first, and I don't think that the market's going to like the way that this goes down. So yeah, got a good sell. It's come right back to their line. But the Treasury continues its slow march upwards and is about to pierce a new high. Trading into 17. The Treasuries know what's up, folks. Mm-mm. If you stop the monthly stimulus and crank out $1 trillion project bill and no income tax, then skyrocket over the next weeks or toast. Country's still in debt. Here's what I'm concerned about. There is a 20% of the people that have been relying on unemployment to live and pay bills, and they are not going to get it next week. That's what I'm concerned about. Could do this until the London close. Hmm. What you're actually saying, Seth, is that the prostitutes are going to get better looking and cheaper for those of us who have money. I don't know anything about what the impact that unemployment insurance has on hookers, but I'm really happy about my treasury trade today. Smash the bid CN is the best instrument to trade in. It's not even close. I might even be a little biased. I didn't know that. Well, maybe you did. I thought you were a ZP guy, but I did pretty good in the 10-year today, and I did pretty good in the 10-year yesterday too. I even messed around with multiple contracts and did really great on the multiple contracts. Because sometimes it's been like, the reason that I really ended up going well was because I was able to take the drawdown and average out the exit and stuff. But today it was just almost perfect. If their new stimulus passes, more incentives for healthcare providers in COVID cases, expect more and more cases forever. Yeah. Well, I think that the big thing is they want more money for states is one of the big contentions. But then the really big thing is that Mnuchin really wants a payroll tax cut, and nobody in the Republicans wanted it. So I don't know. Like the thing is even if they're able to pass a bill, I don't think there's going to be a lapse in payments no matter what. It seems to me that there's going to be a lapse in payments no matter what, and they're just going to have to backdate it so that you get like a double payment in 3 weeks or whatever it is. Banks only go up when it's easy money for them. Well, banks haven't been doing super great lately, though. So a pretty big offer at 26 in the 5-year seems to be the thing holding the Treasury complex back at the moment. But the E-mini continues to just kind of hover here around where all of the crazy volume has been. So they're just kind of chilling here. Maybe the sellers come and push it back below 32.62. And if we get another sell, then the technicals might be a little bit more favorable for a deeper run. There's a congressional hearing on Moderna, and he said that they're not going to sell it for the cost of production. Obviously, they want to make money. 60.5 goes bid, but only 800. It looks like a rotational day. I think so. I have seen a lot of volume, and I see a lot of reason for them to sell. Hoyer says there isn't much enthusiasm for a payroll tax cut. Why not? Why is Congress so against the payroll tax cut? That's a little interesting to me. Arizona's still above 23% positive. I don't know why. It's interesting that the traders are reading the positivity testing rate as a big thing. Because really, what you want is you want a high positive testing rate, because then that means that you're testing the right people. That's the reason that metric exists. But they're reading that as negative. And the market doesn't seem to care either. Actual COVID-19 case count could be 6 to 24 times higher. CDC study shows. Okay, they sold a little bit more. 16.5, it looks like it's going. The 10-year. And look at firms up. Somebody trying to save it there in the E-mini. Buyers defending for sure. Hmm. Well, the buyers are kind of getting close to like the end of the range and acting like they're going to make another push up, and then they backed off it again. And that's kind of been happening. I'm seeing like everywhere else now that New York Times story about virus cases could be 2 to 13 times higher. 2 to 13 is a really wide range, don't you think? Shorts are trapped. Oh, for sure. There's guys back at 60, 62. Well, I still see that the treasuries look like they're they look pretty concerned. But we have to realize that the treasuries are down a good step from where they were yesterday. We spent a lot of time yesterday at 16. So it makes complete sense that they're going to trade a ton between 16 and 17. But, the range here is narrow enough that, like right here, it could flip really quickly. So now it's in the spread again. And look at the treasuries bidding up. Look at how aggressively they bid at 17. I'm finally going to get my fill at 17.5. It's not quite aggressive enough for me to feel like that I really need to move my order, but okay. And buyers trying to dig out now. Don't think that one worked for them. Not a new low. Here in Canada, people are traveling around joking that they make more when off than at work if they call them Trudeau bucks. Yeah, this is what's happening in the United States. My wife is on unemployment on maternity leave and is making more than she would make if she was working. It's freaking crazy. The overnight boosted my investment portfolio to its highest ever, based largely on S&P 500. Yeah. The move overnight is really seems like a little excessive to me. I don't really see any justification for that other than people chasing, you know what I mean? Sucking risk out of VIX, but are people getting too complacent here? I think that they are. Well, why does the market ear ask that question? 2 out of 8 months, VIX future spread continues trading lower at the lowest levels since the coronavirus crisis started. The spread is still not cheap, but given the fact we have the majority of earnings ahead of us, a bulk reporting during the coming 3 weeks, short-term protection is starting to look like a relative buy. Okay, so now they've gone back into the seller's side. But again, not a new low. Not a new like swing low. My treasury's thickening up. I ain't gonna feel me. The politicians are all downplaying the fact that there's going to be a lapse in payments, or they're in denial. Okay. Getting the big old absorption up at the high again. And it's probably going to be another 5K. And the chart did turn down, but you can see buyers buying the dip and trying really hard to pull it out. Okay, well, it's 9:30, so it looks like I'm going to stop out on my E-mini trade. And on this side over here, I'm going to, if I get filled at 17.5, I am going to exit. Since it's about time for me to go. Well, that move up really changed the picture. Still didn't touch it. Hmm. Hmm. Wow, if they get below 31.62 here. Okay, so that there's still some technical buyers there. Feeling a little fuzzy, like I'm getting super sleepy. I'm getting super sleepy. Yeah, squeeze. Squeeze, my friend Tenure. Look at that bid. Thank you. That's a real break. Okay. So, let's see if this area here in the E-mini breaks or not. They came awfully close. One tick short. US dollar getting killed. Expect a very strong demand at the 20-year bond auction tomorrow, similar to the 30-year auction 2 weeks ago, says the GovTrader. Ah, yes, good point. Did not realize there was a 20-year auction tomorrow. I could see that being a key driver for bullishness in treasuries. Well, I'm really happy with my like I said again. I'm really happy with the way that I traded the 10-year today. It was almost perfect. I got it almost perfect. Now the one thing was that there was that stop run against me at the beginning, but that I guess that's just gonna happen sometimes. So it's maybe something that we got to keep an eye on though to see if it's like common or what. because that's certainly not the first time I've seen a stop run like that. Now in the E-mini, well, it's disappointing to me, but no big deal. Maybe we're just early to the trade. Maybe tonight some analyst comes out and says, oh yeah, like the chances of unemployment insurance payments lapsing is really high. Anyways, I think we got a good title for today. Can Congress pass a law before unemployment runs out? Question mark. 12 likes. Thank you guys very much. That's so, like, you guys are, wow. I'll just, you click the like button all on your own, and it's just like, we're working on a channel, because I don't necessarily care if I'm popular, but to me it's fun to build the YouTube channel. And when things just go well without me doing anything, because you guys are just so great, is just like the best feeling in the world. Because you ever feel like, you're working on something and you wish you had help, and but you're always toiling by yourself. And now I've got at least 12 people clicking that like button all on their own without me saying anything, just because they like the content that we're providing. Is just like a special, it makes me feel warm and gooey. Do you have a hotkey to clear out the DOM? I usually just click on it. I care a lot more about, how much it takes when they actually clear it than I do like when they come back, and what it was way back then and everything else like that. So I don't really care too much about when I clear it. Only when it's over in the E-mini, and not like they're gonna retrace something like that they were gonna move down, and I could retrace that and see how far down they get. But and no, she was here at the beginning. She's been lurking. Anyways, thank you guys. As always, please like and subscribe. If you subscribe, I would highly recommend clicking the bell icon, because the bell icon will give you notifications when the stream goes live. So that makes it a lot easier for you to follow the stream. And there's a Patreon link in the video description below, where I post daily cryptocurrency charts. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.